We are about a month removed from that heartbreaking Super Bowl loss. Man, what a tough one that was. But we really haven't heard from too many players since that went down. And we actually got some amazing insight just into kind of how Deebo Samuel is dealing with this. And he also revealed he was dealing with multiple injuries and an injury that he sustained in the second quarter of the Super Bowl. I know a lot of people have been down on Deebo for his performance in that game, but honestly, this provides a lot of context. And it's also not the only player that I think was hurt in this game. Obviously, he's going to talk about some other guys, but I think you saw a video of George Kittle rehabbing. So that's an indication that he was either hurt during or before that game. And so that's just what it is. You play in that many games, you're going to be dinged up and you're going to have to fight through injury. So, man, Deebo Samuel joined Kay Adams on the Up and Adams show and really just kind of gave a look behind the curtain and really gave some phenomenal insight and just how this guy's feeling, man. I think it's a very genuine look inside to Deebo and just kind of how he's processing, his second Super Bowl loss in his career and just the impact that it has, man. It's a really good clip. So I wanted to share it with you. Let's take a listen. You'll hear from Deebo directly, and then we'll react to what he had to say on the other side.
Yeah, talk about, I haven't seen you in a long time. You've had a couple weeks. You're back on social. You're smiling. I'm happy to see that. You called the Super Bowl loss one of the biggest heartbreaks you can deal with. How are you feeling?
I mean, now, kind of put it behind me. About to get back in the lab here in a week. About to take son to Disney World. And after that, get back in the lab. But, I mean, 2 and 5 years, like it's pretty rough. Being right there, the 2 that we've been in is just falling short. Like, it's just so heartbreaking, man. But, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to move on, and it's the next year, and we're just gonna continue to grind and do what we set out to do.
How do you do it? How do you put it behind you?
It's kind of hard, because all we know is like basically our job is like football, so it's just like, all right, let's use this motivation when you get back in the lab just to put yourself in a position and try to do your best to get back, because people just say it's always the next year, but I heard that in 2019, and it took 4 more years to get where we at. So, I mean, it's not that easy as people think to get to the Super Bowl. And, it takes everything. It takes me, the coaches, the guys, the people upstairs, and for them to bring people in to help and for everything just to play out right. It's just like not going to snap your hands and you just back in the Super Bowl again. It's harder than people think.
So what's your relationship with your faith in this team and situation? Like, it's the faithful. How faithful are you right now? Because you get there. NFC Championship games, you be like 4 out of 5. That's it. 4 out of 5 is insanely impressive. You've come so close. Has it shaken your faith at all?
Nah, not at all. Because, I mean, if you look at it, we still got, 95% of the guys that's coming back. And, I got all the faith in the world in this team that we have. It's cool and all, 4 out of 5 NFC championships, making 2 Super Bowls. That's all cool and fine and dandy, but it's not cool when you're not the team at the end of the year holding Lombardi. So everybody on this team has one goal, and I hope we set out and we get it done.
Is there a moment from the game? What's the moment that sort of plays in your head the most?
It's just so much. Like, dealing with a shoulder. And then second half, I pulled my hamstring, so I'm just like, bro, not right now. Like, please, not right now. And then we're still able to go out there and try to help the team, but we just fell short. And then they got great Patrick Mahomes on the other side, so he's capable of anything. And our defense was playing well all game long. They played well all game long. It was just Pat Mahomes, man.
I mean, you had the shoulder at the end of the NFC Championship game, your hamstring in the second quarter of the Super Bowl. Were you, be honest with me now, because we're removed, the game's over, season's over, were you pushing through more injuries than we even knew?
Yeah, y'all didn't know about too much.
That's so upsetting.
But it's part of the game, though. So, I'm not blaming injuries on, the reason why I didn't play the way I was supposed to play. But, I mean, this injury's part of the game, and, a player like me and a player like that's part of our organization, like Eric Armstead playing through a knee problem. So, you can't put too much blame on the injury. So, I mean, it's whatever.
So what did you learn? What did you learn from this season, from this game?
Man, it's just so much. Like I always say, like you got to take advantage of every opportunity you get in. I mean, and stand on that, and it's like you just got to be prepared for anything. And so, man, like I said, like that was losing that game. It was pretty rough, but at the end of the day, like we can't go back. And to me personally, it took like 2 weeks. And I used to wake up and I'm like, bro, I'm about to get ready to play in the Super Bowl again. And I'm just like, nah, we just lost the Super Bowl. It didn't even feel like real.
Yeah. I think a lot of people out there, I mean, you were the best team in the NFL. I'm so happy that the best team in the NFL made it to the Super Bowl. That doesn't always happen. It's so hard. It's hard to win a game. It's hard to make it through a training camp. It's hard to do all of these things and then to stack these visits. I think a lot of people would want to know from you, based off like your faith in the team, why is it going to be different? What's ahead? Or what needs to change to get there and get it done?
I don't necessarily think anything need to change. We did everything that we were set out to do, and at the end of the year, as we talked week in and week out, we always wanted to be one of the teams that was playing at the end, and we was one of those. It was just the fact that we not the only good team in the league. There's also other good teams in the league. So I mean, when it meet, who's going to be the best team at the time, and who's going to make the more plays, and who's going to just go out there and have a better game. And they had a better game at the time, and they won.
And as you heard, he injured himself in the second quarter, pulled his hammy. That's a tough one, and as he alluded to, he's dealing with some other things. And again, talked about Eric Armstead playing through the torn meniscus. That's pretty much par for the course. I mean, I think there's a saying in the NFL: Are you hurt or are you injured? Injured means you can't go, but if you're hurt and you can still go, you go. That's the mentality of football players. And it's just how it goes, man. Like if you can functionally move, regardless of how much it hurts, you go out and you perform for your boys. And I think that's pretty common theme with the San Francisco 49ers. So, but yeah, man, just hearing Deebo Samuel talk about it, talking about how he's like waking up, like, man, I'm going to go play in the Super Bowl. And then getting hit with the realization that that already came and passed and we lost, and it's like almost like a dream. I'm not gonna lie, as someone who covered the Super Bowl, was there in Las Vegas. That first week was rough, man. And I would wake up and be like, almost a similar thing, like, wow, we just lost the Super Bowl. That wasn't a dream. I remember the first morning after the Super Bowl loss, when I woke up, I opened my eyes and it was like a rush of anxiety that, wait, we lost the Super Bowl. That wasn't a dream. That really happened. And so I'm sure a lot of you felt that way as well. But to hear Deebo Samuel talking about it, going through it, again, just kind of taking us inside, like what it feels like to lose a game of that magnitude, how difficult it is to get to this game. Again, we understand the expectations that are heaped onto this team because of how good they are and what they can do. But it really does, he really does highlight how difficult it is to get to the Super Bowl. Like, it is not easy, even though the expectation right now heading into next year is Super Bowl win or bust. Like, I would probably say the fan base wouldn't even be pleased with just a Super Bowl appearance. And I think that's pretty, apparent of kind of the reactions to the loss, that just occurred. But the fans heading into next year, I really do think the mentality for them is going to be Super Bowl win or bust. So ending next year without a win is going to be a disappointment for a lot of fans. And again, I understand that thought process, but it's also a combination of understanding like this is not easy to get to the Super Bowl. And even for a team that has been to the NFC Championship game 4 out of the last 5 seasons, and they've only made it to the Super Bowl twice. So it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a grind. Players are going to have to be signed. You're going to have to potentially draft some impact starters as rookies in this draft. Like, this is an important draft. This is an important free agency. It's an important year to be able to stay cap compliant, and just how this structure and core is going to be able to get another shot at it. You can't, all good things come to an end. And you want to keep this thing riding as long as you can with this core group of players, because it's a special core. And if they didn't win a Super Bowl, I think that would be something that would sit with us for a long time. I think we think back to, the Harbaugh years and that core that didn't win it, and the Staleys and the Willises and the Bowmans, and the Frank Gores. Like, the list goes on of guys who deserved a ring and just weren't able to get it. So the hope is retool, reset, get after it. Hey, another big year coming up. Let me know what you guys think about what Deebo Samuel had to say. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.